get started laying on our backs. So you can make your way down onto your back, however is comfortable for you. And as you land on your back, you can bend your knees and place your feet to the floor and just let your knees knock in towards one another. And then allow one hand to rest onto your belly and the other hand to rest over your heart. And here you can begin to take a few deep breaths. I want you to think about breathing into your entire rib cage. So we're not necessarily thinking about belly breathing. And we want to make sure that our breath isn't just shallow breathing in our upper chest and neck. So with each breath in, allowing the rib cage to expand in all directions, right to left, front to back, up and down. You might even feel as you begin to breathe a little bit deeper, a sense of stretching, or maybe kind of feeling those creaks and little pops in your rib cage, maybe even your spine. A lot of the times when we sit for a long time, our breath gets shallow. It's important to re-enliven, re-expand our lung tissue, our rib cage, etc. And take a few more breaths just like this. I'll encourage you to carry this breath with you throughout all of the movements that we do today. From here, you can keep your feet about hip width apart. Allow your knees now to travel hip width apart as well. Relax your arms by the sides of your body. Together, let's take a big breath in here. With your breath out, simply imprint your low back down and towards the ground so that you're creating a posterior tilt to your pelvis. Let your feet be light. And on your inhale, release that imprint of your low back. Instead, press your tail down. Take your breath in. And exhale, imprint your low back down. Your tailbone might curl up towards your inner thighs. We'll alternate between those 2 points. Inhale to press your tail down, release the imprint of your low back. Exhale to imprint your low back down, let your tail curl up and away from the floor. Let's alternate back and forth between those 2 points with your own breath. And try to keep your feet as light as possible so that we're not using the strength of the legs to create the movement of the pelvis, but we're using the strength of the core instead. After you have completed one final rock, then you can allow that imprint to release. And now I'd like you to find a position where you can lay down with either your feet against the wall, as I have mine, at about a 90-degree angle, or place your feet up onto a bench or a box or a chair or couch, somewhere where you can get your knees to about a 90-degree angle bend. Once you're set up there, you'll re-embody that imprint of your low back towards the floor. With that little bit of an imprint, let your arms relax by your sides. Press your feet into the wall and lift your hips up away from the ground. So you arrive with your hips hovering the ground. Think of imprinting your low back towards the floor, even though it's up off of the floor. So we're trying to create a posterior pelvic tilt, a little bit of flexion to the spine here. As you arrive, now start to think about pulling your heels down. Hopefully they won't actually move, but instead you'll just feel your hamstrings and glutes fire up a little bit more. Now we're going to hold in this position. You'll take a breath in through your nose and purse your lips and exhale forcefully through your pursed lips. We'll do that again. Breathe in. And exhale out pursed lips. So one more time, breath in. And exhale through pursed lips. Slowly release your hips and pelvis down. Keep your legs where they're at and just relax. Find a few normal breaths. And the goal with this action, we call it pelvic reset, is to reignite the hamstrings so that they can help to support the pelvis to sit in proper position. We are going to go for another round. So press down into your block or your box, your chair, or the wall so that you can lift your hips up. Think of imprinting your low back towards the floor, even though your hips and back are off the ground. You can tuck your tail up between your thighs, finding a posterior pelvic tilt, and start to pull your feet down so that you feel your hamstrings activate. You'll take a breath in through your nose. Out through pursed lips, exhale forcefully. A few more breaths like that. Two more breaths. Last time, breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly lower your hips back down towards the ground. And then make your way away from the wall. You're going to stay on your back. Place your feet hip width apart. Have your heels close towards your bum so that your ankles are stacked underneath your knees. You can let your arms relax to the ground. Imprint your low back towards the floor again. We'll take a full inhale here. Keep that imprint. And with your exhale, press into your feet and drive your hips up towards the sky. Use your inhale to lower your hips back down, recommit to the imprint of your spine. On your exhale, press through both feet and drive your hips up towards the sky. Inhale, come on down with your hips, imprint your low back. Exhale, drive your hips towards the sky. Equal effort in both feet. We'll continue like that. You'll inhale to lower. Exhale, drive up. Think of lifting your pubic bone higher than your belly button. And come on down and keep going. Next time that you come down, take a little pause. Let your knees and feet come wider than your hips now, and simply let your knees windshield wiper side to side as slowly or as quickly as feels good for your body. Then you can bring yourself back to stillness and place your feet hip width apart again. Check in that your ankles are placed underneath your knees or as close as you can get them. Take a moment and imprint your low back down. You'll inhale here. And with your exhale, drive your hips up towards the sky. We're going to stay. Think of tucking your tailbone up in between your thighs so that you feel your pubic bone lift higher. And if this feels like enough effort, you're going to stay just as you are. Otherwise, you can plant your palms down to the ground with your arms straight by your sides and just use them like little braces. With your next inhale, float your right leg up towards your chest. As you exhale, place your right foot down to the ground. Keep your hips lifted, recommit to the tuck of your tail. Then inhale, float your left leg up and towards your chest. Exhale, place your left foot down, recommit to the tuck of your tail. Inhale to lift your right leg. Exhale to place it down. Hips stay high. Inhale, float your left leg. Exhale to place it down. One more each side. Tuck your tail. Inhale, float that right leg up. Exhale, place it down. Inhale, float your left leg. Exhale to place it down. Recommit to the tuck of your tail. Take a big breath in. Exhale, place both hips down to the ground again. And bring your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. Maybe you rock side to side. And then whatever way feels easiest for you, you can come on up to a seated position. We're going to continue to work the hips, the low core, the low back a little bit. So you can land in a seated position with your knees bent, feet wider than your hips. Place your hands behind you. When you're ready, let your knees windshield wiper side to side, just like we did in our reclined position. And the next time that your legs fall to the right, we're going to leave them there and work to build a seated 90-90. So if you have any pain in your front knee, you can either put a prop or pillow underneath that front knee or even underneath your right hip. Once you've got your 90-degree angle set with your back and front leg, try and find a nice tall spine. You can stay here, or you can take your time to fold forwards. This should be a pain-free experience. If you are feeling any pain, then that's a sign to back off, or you can let me know. I'm happy to give you some adjustments. We'll take just a few breaths here. Two more full rounds of breath as you are. And if you folded forwards, you can bring yourself back up. We are going to intentionally strengthen our hip flexors. So I want you to tense your fingers either side of your front leg. From this position, see what it feels like to hover your front leg up off the ground. See if you can get it up. It might not be much, and that's okay. And then place that leg back down. If that felt impossible, then you can just lean to the right a little bit more until you can feel the ability to lift. But if that felt okay, we're going to stay with the fingertips either side of the front thigh. You'll use your inhale to hover your front leg up off of the ground. Your exhale to place your front leg down. We'll continue like that, going for a count of 8. And like I mentioned, using this opportunity to build some intentional strength in our hip flexors. Once you have completed 8, we'll let that front leg relax. You can turn your torso towards your back thigh more now and place your hands behind you so that you can lean back onto those hands. Now, as we start to focus on the back leg a little bit more, it can be very common for the fibers of glute min, glute med, TFL to get a little bit crampy. We want to try to stay just on the edge of the cramps. If we do get to the place of cramping, just making sure we slow down, we stay calm, we breathe with it. Okay, so as we land here, I'm going to first start to think about pressing down into the back shin. We're going to start at 50% effort. We're going to work our way up. After we have reached 100% effort of pressing down with our back shin, we're going to try the opposite action. We're going to try to lift the back shin up. Because we're at our end range of motion, it's not actually going to go anywhere, but you're going to feel the tissues on the outer hip and the leg start to fire up, which is what we're looking for. So with your hands behind you, start to press down into your left leg with 50% effort. You should feel your inner ankle, your inner knee pressing down with an equal amount of effort. If you have any pain in your inner knee, then we could slide a prop underneath it to lift it up just slightly. Otherwise, let's keep pressing. You can start to ramp this effort up now to 75% effort pressing down. You can imagine if there were a scale underneath your left leg, that it would express more and more weight over these next few moments. Now let's ramp the effort up to your safe maximum effort. So pain-free maximum effort. You're pressing down with your back leg. We're not going to rest before we switch to lifting with 50% effort. So let's stay with this maximum effort down for just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now try to lift your back shin up with 50% effort. It can be really easy to lift the back knee. I want you to try to lift the whole back shin simultaneously. And this exercise can feel frustrating because it doesn't actually lift. That's very normal. Like I said, we're working those end range tissues. We're just trying to teach it to be engaged at this range. So let's go 75% effort, trying to lift that back shin up. Check in that you're still breathing. If you imagine that scale under your back shin, now it's expressing less and less weight. Now I want you to hit your maximum safe effort, trying to lift your left leg up. We'll stay with this max effort just a few more seconds. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your left leg. Keep your legs as they are. Just turn your torso back towards your front thigh. All right, from here, you're going to keep your left knee glued to the ground, and you are going to try to lift your left ankle up off of the floor. So left ankle will lift any amount, and you'll replace to the ground. We want to make sure that this rotation is happening right in the hip socket. So you might even take your left hand onto your left hip and just make sure that it doesn't move very much as you go for that next lift of the back ankle up, any amount that works for your body, and then try to place it down with control. We'll go for 6 more, allowing that left ankle to lift and lower. All right, on this last one, we're going to keep the ankle lifted. So come on up with that left ankle. We're going to hold. Keep pressing your left knee down. See if that left ankle and shin can come a little bit higher. We're holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly place it down. A little bit more to stimulate that back leg. I'm going to suggest that you go again, fingertips tented or lean to the right as much as you need in order for this next action to happen. And see if you can lift your whole back shin up and then place it down. Knee and ankle parallel with the ground. We're going to go for a total of 8. Whole back shin lifts up, we place down. Check in that your breath stays with you. Like I mentioned, you can lean to the right as much as you need in order to make this happen. You only want to be able to lift a little bit up off the ground. So if you can lift it super high, it just means you could sit up a little bit taller. Perfect. On this last one, we're going to keep that back leg lifted. So hover your back shin up off the ground. Stay and breathe. Notice the sensation, the feeling in your outer left hip. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that left leg down. Then place your hands behind you and let your knees windshield wiper side to side, releasing that 90-90 shape. The next time that your legs fall to the left, we'll leave them there, finding the same 90-90 shape that you just did on the opposite side. You could again prop up your left knee or your left hip, or maybe even your right knee. Once you've landed, you can take your time and fold forwards for a few breaths. Notice how this side feels different than the other side did. And take 3 more breaths here. And then you can sit yourself up. Tense your fingertips either side of your front thigh and see what it feels like to float your whole front shin up off the ground. If it feels impossible, lean to the left as much as you need in order to create that action. Once you've given it a try once, we're going to go for 7 more. So using your own breath to find the lift and lower. And although it won't ever actually be possible, I will encourage you to try to place your foot and knee down simultaneously. So we're also stimulating a little bit of external rotation while we're here. Perfect. We're going to switch our attention to the back leg now. So you can turn to face your back knee. Place your hands to the ground behind you. And just as we did the effort down and the effort lifting on the other side, we're going to embody that here. So you can start to press your back knee and shin down into the ground with 50% effort, pressing evenly from the ankle to the inner knee. And if it's a helpful visual, maybe you envision that scale beneath your inner shin. It's expressing more and more weight as we hold here. As we ramp the effort up, we'll go 75% effort pressing down. Stay with that effort. Let's ramp it up even more. Maximum effort pressing down. The whole inner line of your right shin. I'm going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch to lifting your back shin now. It's not actually going to lift. You're just going to think about it. 50% effort. Imagining that scale under your right shin expressing less weight now. And as much as it is easy to simply lift the right knee, see if you can try to lift the right ankle, the right knee simultaneously. We'll ramp it up to 75% effort trying to lift. Stay with your breath. Let's go maximum safe effort trying to lift your back leg. Stay with this max for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that leg. Keep your legs as they are. Just turn your torso forwards towards your left leg again. You're going to keep your right knee rooted. Maybe place your right hand onto your right hip. Let's go to lift that right ankle up and place it down for 8 total. Just challenging the internal rotation ability of this right hip socket. This next one, we're going to stay up and hold. So connect to that strength, that patience, pressing your right knee down. See if you can hover your right shin, your right foot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that foot and ankle down. You'll tense your fingers either side of your left thigh. Again, lean left any amount that you need to make this next action happen. See if you can lift your whole right shin up and place it down. Looking to place the knee and ankle down at the same time. We're going for a total of 8 lifts. Perfect. Let's hold up at the top this last time. Find that hover, knee and ankle at the same height. Sit up as tall as you can, holding and breathing. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place that shin down. Place your hands behind you. Let that release. Knees windshield wiper side to side. Hopefully you're feeling the tissue around your hip sockets nice and active. Next position is going to be seated again with your legs forwards in front of you in a straddle. The straddle doesn't need to be any bigger than 90 degrees. And if seated in this position, you feel like you're rounding back in space, I'm going to suggest that you slide a bolster or a block or a pillow underneath. All right, back to the hip flexors for a little bit more work. I want you to turn and face your right leg. Option 1 is going to be fingertips either side of the thigh. This is going to be more challenging than the second option, which is hands behind the back where you can lean back as much as you need. Once you have your fingers placed in the position that feels right for you, see if you can lift your right leg up off the ground. And then very slowly place it back down. We're going to go for 10 lifts total. So lifting and lowering with your own breath. Here you might end up feeling the top of your thigh starting to get a little crampy, very normal. Rectus femoris, one of our quad muscles, crosses our hip joint, one of our primary hip flexors. So you might feel it getting a little spicy while we're here. All right, we're gonna hold at the top. So let's lift the right leg up. You're gonna keep it here. Press down through your fingertips, press down through your sit bones. See if you can pull that leg up towards your face, towards your chest. Keep it as straight as feels possible. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that leg down. Let's turn to the left leg. Tense your fingers. Again, if you need to lean back, hands behind you, that option is always there. Otherwise, we'll keep them where they're at. See if you can go for a lift of the left leg. And then we place down. We're going for 10 total. Move with your own breath. Try not to drop your leg down to the ground. We want to place it with control. And we're going to go for a hold on this last one. So when you're ready, lift that leg up. Press down through your hands, through your sit bones. Stay with it. Keep breathing. And release. Perfect. All right. So that 30 minutes goes by so fast. Hope your hips are feeling alive.